I want to use the opportunity to welcome everybody here to this awesome occasion of the 26th investiture of the NIA Chairman. It's my singular honor to welcome everybody here. You're most welcome, please. A round of applause for everybody here, please. And let me start by, first and foremost, not being a stranger to you. My name is Sheriff Quadri. I work with Nigeria Info FM in Lagos here. I must say Port Harcourt actually, because I was in Port Harcourt, Nigeria Info FM, but it's an honor to be here. Let's not waste any further time right now. Let me start by introducing the VIPs. I know everybody's a VIP, please pardon me, please. Let me start by first calling the NIA Chairman, Mr. Kunle Ahmed, to the front. Mr. Ahmed, Mr. Chairman, please. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you, sir. Right here, sir. Thank you. You're welcome, sir. I'd also like to recognize the presence of the DG of NIA, Mrs. Bola Odukale. So, I'd also like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Adebola Surakat, Chief Marketing Officer. AXA, thank you. Ma'am, how are you? Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. Now let's move on. Let's have opening speech from our very amiable Chairman, NIA, Nigerian Insurance Association, Mr. Kunle Ahmed. Mr. Chairman, please. A round of applause, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can I put a bit more energy behind this? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So you answered me, it's not morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Council members here present, I can't see any one of them yet. The DG NIA, from the College of Insurance, insurance practitioners here in the building, educators in our midst this afternoon, students, our partners, gentlemen and ladies of the press, if they are here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted and honored to stand before you today to kickstart the inaugural inter-school debate tagged The Great Debate. We are gathered here today not just to discuss ideas, but to ignite a passion and thirst for insurance education among teens and youths of our dear country. It's no longer news that adequate education is one of the major challenges that our industry faces. While I acknowledge various initiatives that the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria, CIN, and member companies of NIA have deployed to address this challenge, I'm happy that we are launching this debate today as another complementary initiative to increase the conversation around insurance education. Therefore, the theme of this debate, Insurance for National Development, resonates deeply with the spirit of my vision and agenda for the Nigerian Insurance Association. I'm convinced that embedding insurance education into our schools' curricula and extracurricular activities is not merely an initiative, but a vital step towards fostering a financially literate generation that understands the importance of risk management in their lives and in the broader economy. Insurance is often viewed as a complex and abstract concept, yet it plays a crucial role in our daily lives, from protecting our homes and businesses to ensuring our health and well-being. Insurance is a cornerstone of financial security. By driving and advocating for insurance education in schools, we aim to demystify this essential service and empower the next generation with the knowledge that they need to make informed decisions. Imagine a future where young adults enter the workforce equipped with a solid understanding of insurance products and their benefits. They will be better prepared to protect themselves and their families and contribute to a more resilient economy. This is the vision we are striving. This is the vision we are striving for, and with all of your support, that future will be nearer than imagined. Through this debate, we hope to inspire a culture of inquiry and critical thinking. We look forward to an era where students will learn to appreciate the role of insurance in mitigating risk, fostering entrepreneurship, and supporting sustainable development. More importantly, this initiative is not just about competition. It's about collaboration and shared learning among schools, educators, and industry professionals. To succeed in this initiative, we recognize that we must collaborate with the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria and engage all stakeholders, including schools, parents, state governments, and the insurance industry. We must encourage government to incorporate insurance topics into their school curricula, not as a standalone subject, but as an integral component of financial literacy education. We are also convinced that initiatives like this will spark a new kind of curiosity in our parents. As a parent myself, I know that we are our children's best learning partners. So I believe that as parents work together with their children on the insurance topic, they can also better understand and convince themselves about the role of insurance, the truth about insurance operations, and how they can better harness the benefit of insurance for themselves, families, and businesses. I'm convinced that this debate will steer the conversations about insurance in Nigerian homes. These conversations will help our young ones understand the relevance and importance of insurance in their lives. Permit me to seize this opportunity to call on more government bodies, especially the state governments, to recognize the significance of insurance education and support policies that promote financial literacy in schools. Together, we can create an environment where insurance is not just a product, but a fundamental aspect of our national development strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, as we embark on this journey, let us remember that our nation's future lies in the hands of the youth. Over 50% of our country's population are young people. So driving initiatives like this isn't just good for today, it has great implications for tomorrow's economic prosperity. By equipping our teens and youths with the knowledge and skills to navigate complexities of financial literacy, we are investing in a more secure and prosperous Nigeria. I'm excited about the potential of this initiative and the positive impact on our society. I invite you all to join us in ensuring that insurance becomes a vital part of our educational framework that will foster a generation that values financial literacy and understand the importance of risk management. To our debaters today, the panel of judges, the school teachers, the coaches, and the parents and the teams that have worked to put this together, thank you. I congratulate you all for being part of rewriting the history of insurance education in Nigeria. I look forward to an engaging and enlightening debate. May the best ideas win. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, officially, I welcome everybody to the Great Debate 2024. And we're about to witness something amazing. And we'll get to it. I'll tell you more about the contestants who are seated there. But before then, let me quickly invite our judges to the table. I have first Mrs. Adebola Surakat, Chief Marketing Officer, AXA Mansard. Ms. Surakat, please. One of our judges, a round of applause for her, please. You're welcome, ma'am. Let's have our second judge on the table. I have Mr. Larry Ojola. He's the Director of Operations, Nigeria Insurance Station. Mr. Larry, you're welcome. It's good to have you, sir. Now let's have our third judge, Mrs. Chizoba Hilgu. She is from the College of Insurance and Financial Management. You're welcome, ma'am. Right. I think we're almost set to go. Let's introduce our contestants. Before I do that, let me say that these contestants have participated in a popular radio debate competition known as I Beg to Differ Debate Competition. Who was listening to the show? You have, sir? Awesome. In fact, we're starting another season in 2 weeks' time to have the next champion. Ably seated there, I have the following, and please, when I'm mentioning their name, please help me give them a resounding round of applause as I mention them. Let me start with Akilo Sayan Charles, a student of CMS Grammar School. Akilo, please go take a seat. He was amazing. He was brilliant in the I Beg to Differ Debates competition. He is a student of CMS Grammar School. I also have Mary Ashia. Mary Ashia, everybody, a round of applause. She is the current national champion of the I Beg to Differ Debate tournament. She defeated contestants from Port Harcourt, from Abuja, and from Lagos. Let's move on very quickly because of time. I have here seated Adio Afolarin. A round of applause, please. A student of Ikorodu Senior High School. He is also very brilliant, exemplary in the way he marshals out his point. Very good. And lastly, Messi Ajekigbe of Inglewood Academy. Messi, please take a seat. Now, the spark is about to begin. Please brace yourselves. No whispers in the crowd. Let's allow the students debate. Let's have them on the floor. But before then, let me also say very clearly, I'm sure that the students have been briefed already, but let's say it out here. There will be 4 criteria upon which they will be judged today. First is the content, which is the relevance and clarity of the point that they make. The maximum point for each argument, for each debater on this category is 25 points for content, relevance, and clarity. Next is how they use their time because the debate itself is structured in a way that we're going to judge them with their opening presentation, then they will get the chance to come back and rebut what the opponent has said, and then they will have a chance to close. So we have the opening presentation, the rebuttal stage, and then the closing stage. So they're going to be judged again by our able judges on how they manage their time between the opening, the rebuttal, and the closing. Then, after the use of time, they will also be judged on presentation. These boils down to their diction, how they pronounce words, because we don't just want debaters, we want debaters who are sound, who can go anywhere in the world to go and argue and marshal out their points across. So they're going to be judged based on that as well. And lastly, how you perceived their point. That is the impact that they have on you. The judges will look at that and they will score them accordingly. Are we clear on that, debaters? Is everything clear? All right. Now, our first match today is between Akilo Seyon Charles and Mary Uke Ashia. They will be arguing should insurance coverage be mandatory for all citizens. Please confirm that that is the topic you're given. That is the topic you're given. Fantastic. All right. Let's see. Mary will be arguing against the topic. Charles will be arguing for the topic. Is that clear again? That is what you're briefed. All right, good. Now, each debater will have 4 minutes each for their presentation, 4 minutes for their rebuttal, and 4 minutes for their closing. We have, what is our timer? Correct. My timer is there. So, if the judges are ready, judges, are you ready? Alrighty. So I am going to step aside now because they would come on stage to come and start their argument. First to mount the stage is the debater who is arguing in favor of the topic, should insurance coverage be mandatory for all citizens? Akilo Seyon Charles of CMS Grammar School, Bariga.
All right. So let's assume I carried out a survey right now, asking the number of you who would love to be covered by insurance. Well, of course, this is an NIA gathering. I'm sure I'll get a lot of positive answers. Until I mention the premium payment. A lot of people be like, nah, I can't do that. It's unnecessary. But if I did another survey on how many people would actually want quality healthcare or reduce mortality rates or even a better Nigerian economy, of course, I'm very sure I'd get 100% positive answers. Why? Because who does not want these things, especially in the situation of Nigeria right now? But what we do not know is that these things can be gotten from insurance adoption. I'll explain better. Beautiful day to the chairman, the panel of judges, the accurate timekeeper, my opponent, and the prestige audience. I am Akilo Seyon from CMS Grammar School, and I'm here to make you understand why insurance adoption should be made mandatory for all citizens in Nigeria. And here are my points. To begin with, financial protection from accidents. Do you know, according to the International Labour Organization, we have 340 million occupational accidents that occur every year, just for you to understand how inevitable accidents are to everybody and can occur to anyone, anyhow, anywhere. Now, bringing this home, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, 30% of all accidents that occur in Nigeria lead to fatalities. Fatalities that cannot be afforded by a common man to treat or perform surgeries on. This would even lead to more fatalities and even death. Now, this would have easily been avoided if this man was covered by insurance because all these finances will have been paid by them. Then again, reduction of long-term cost. You see, reducing long-term cost is reducing long-term cost is one of the advantages of insurance adoption because of preventive care. Because it has been proven that preventive care is one of the advantages of insurance adoption. According to the Journal of the American Medical Association, people who are insured have increased their cancer screening rates by 15 to 20% over people who are not insured. Now, here's a very interesting fact. Do you know, according to the Nigerian Ministry of Health, for every 1 naira that is used on preventive care, 3.5 naira is saved in the long run. So putting this into context, if I use 10,000 naira for checkup, then I'm saving 35,000 naira in the future for a lot of other things. I can use 35,000 naira to buy food source for 2 to 3 weeks rather than using it for hospital bills, and probably won't even be enough. Then again, safety nets for financial irresponsibilities. What we do not know is that insurance adoption helps us to protect us from our own financial irresponsibilities. Now, how does it do this? According to the National Bureau of Statistics, 60% of Nigerians live from paycheck to paycheck, meaning that they are not financially buoyant for shocks or for shocking payments. Now, what insurance adoption does here is to provide financial security over these shocking payments, thereby not leading to bankruptcy. Thereby not leading to bankruptcy. Then again, it helps to international best standards. Do you know that according to the World Health Organization, 85% of countries worldwide are covered with health insurance, mandatory health insurance? What this means is that we have 85% of countries worldwide that are covered with mandatory health insurance. And even in Africa, we have countries such as Rwanda and Ghana that are covered with over 80% health insurance for all of their citizens. And then we have Nigeria with just less than 2%, which is a very poor and embarrassing statistic that has to be corrected, only if it is made mandatory, because we have a lot of citizens in Nigeria that are ignorant about the benefits of insurance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A round of applause for Akilo Seyon Charles. Brilliant. Now he's had his own opening presentation. It's time to invite his challenger, Mary Ashia of Wellspring College. Mary, a round of applause for her, please.
Imagine a rainy day when everyone is offered an umbrella, regardless of whether they need it or not. For some, this umbrella is a blessing, providing vital protection from the downpour. But for others, it's an unnecessary burden, an encumbrance to carry, especially when they have no intention of using it. Good day to the adjudicators, moderators, fellow debaters, and audience. I oppose the motion, should insurance coverage mandatory for all citizens in Nigeria? First, let's consider individual autonomy. Mandatory insurance coverage undermines personal autonomy by limiting healthcare choices. Every citizen has the right to select a plan that aligns with their values. Many Nigerians prefer traditional or alternative medicine, often excluded from state mandates. This restriction can lead to dissatisfaction due to limited choices. Ultimately, a society that honors autonomy fosters empowered citizens who take personal responsibility for their health and well-being. Also, affordability. 12,000 naira. That is Nigeria's average minimum individual insurance plan. In a country where 70% of citizens are multidimensionally poor, many are plunged into poverty daily, and the government's public debt stands at 92 trillion naira. If the people, let alone the government, can't afford insurance coverage, we wonder who will. Next, broader economic impact. Aren't there grave risks to Nigeria's fragile economy, including the risk of job losses and reduced productivity? The burdens of such a system would force businesses to divert significant resources into insurance premiums, discouraging hiring and potentially leading to layoffs. A sound economic policy would prioritize economic stability and job creation. Moving on, quality of care concerned. Consider the implications of a healthcare system in which providers are compelled to meet quotas rather than focus on patient care. Mandatory insurance can unintentionally lower the quality of care in Nigeria. When healthcare professionals must accept insurance plans, they may prioritize volume over personalized services, leading to reduced patient satisfaction. Furthermore, constitutional and legal implications. The policy has raised significant constitutional and legal issues. The Constitution safeguards our individual rights, including personal healthcare choices. Enforcing such mandates could result in lengthy legal battles, hindering essential reforms. These mandates may violate our constitutional freedoms, highlighting the need to focus more on individual rights over enforced compliance. In addition, administrative complexity. How is the policy to be implemented with the existing red tapeism through punitive disenfranchisement or coercive compliance enforcement? Given the country's current challenges, this policy, we should rather instead focus on developing strategies to deal with our existing healthcare services and improving voluntary insurance options. Next, social inequality. Mandatory insurance can exacerbate social inequality, perpetuating a cycle of disadvantage in marginalized communities. For example, a low-income family might find themselves enrolled in a bare-bones plan that offers limited coverage, leading to unmet healthcare needs and poorer health outcomes. The implications of this policy extend beyond individual health. A society that fails to address these disparities risks deepening social divides. Next, mandatory insurance can inadvertently lead to moral hazards, where individuals engage in riskier health behaviors, believing that their coverage will shield them from the consequences. This behavior, for instance, we see when people perceive that insurance will cover all costs, they may neglect preventive care or adopt unhealthy lifestyles, expecting the system to absorb the repercussions. This shift in risk perversion could have long-term, far-reaching implications for public health. Finally, ethical and moral considerations. Mandatory insurance undermines personal responsibility and overlooks our cultural values in Nigeria, where many prioritize familial and community-oriented care over impersonal frameworks. Every citizen has the right to engage with the healthcare system based on their unique values. In the end, the question remains, what do we value more, our personal choices or mandated systems? I'm proud to oppose.
There you go. A round of applause, please. Mary Ashia of Wellspring College. Now we're done with the opening presentation between Akilo Seyon Charles of CMS Grammar School and Mary Ashia of Wellspring College, Lagos here. A round of applause for the two debaters again. You know, I said it, we are just getting started. These are tested debaters. They have been tested all through last year. They were debating, and this year, they all filed out in the nationals of the I Beg to Differ debates competition, where all over the country, people watched and they listened to the way they put out their point. Let's move on. Let's go back to Akilo Seyon Charles for his rebuttal. As a matter of fact, he will be here now to rebut the points made by his opponent, Mary Ashia. Akilo, it's time to rebut. He's got 4 minutes for his rebuttal. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you.
All protocols were extended. I remain Akilo Seyon Charles here to rebut what my opponent said on our side. She talked about affordability. Yes, of course, everybody will have thought about this because not everybody in Nigeria is financially buoyant to actually pay these premiums, which is exactly what the government will have thought about in this case. And because of this, they are going to bring up government support services and subsidies to reduce these prices so that everybody will be able to afford it. Then again, I was expecting you to talk about corruption and bureaucracy because we all know that corruption does not only exist in this. Corruption and bureaucracy don't only exist in this factor. It exists in all other factors. But what we need to understand is that finding a solution to corruption shouldn't be. Okay, so affordability. Then you also said that it reduces the care that's gotten from everyone. Okay, but I don't see how it reduces care because let's think of it this way. If everybody has mandatory insurance coverage, it creates a lot of pressure for these insurance companies, and this pressure is going to lead to competition and innovation in that sector, thereby leading to even more services and higher quality of services for these people. So therefore, it increases healthcare rather than reducing it. Then again, you said thank you very much.
Akilo Seyon Charles, everybody, a round of applause. It's not easy to be on this stage, I must tell you. It's not easy. Let's quickly bring on Mary Ukiashia to have her 4 minutes in rebutting what Akilo Seyon Charles had argued earlier. Mary, please. A round of applause for her, please. Thank you.
All protocols duly observed. The opposition team would expect us to accept the fact that mandatory insurance coverage is a one-size-fits-all solution. The same mandatory insurance coverage will give us good health in Nigeria, forgetting the fact that we have capital drift of qualified doctors, forgetting the fact that we have poorly equipped healthcare stations in the country. Will mandatory insurance coverage cover all these things? No, it won't, and that is why we oppose this motion. So that point made by the government team fails because of the fact that it fails to understand the realities of Nigeria. Secondly, the government team brought up the fact of fatality rate in accidents. Yes, they are inevitable, but what makes you think that mandatory insurance coverage is the only solution to dealing with these things? Why not try to improve workplace safety instead of trying to get the mandatory insurance coverage? Next, you also mentioned the fact that individuals, that when we spend 1 naira on premium cost, that's going to end up giving us 355 naira. Need I remind you that 30% of Nigerians can't even afford basic expenses? So does the government team expect us to now substitute food for mandatory insurance coverage? Because that is exactly what they are doing. They're telling us that you should give up what you have. You should give up your food, your clothing, your shelter to get a mandatory insurance coverage because hypothetically it's going to protect you from future costs. Next, the opposition team also brings up the fact that the government in rather also brings up the fact that by us getting a mandatory insurance healthcare package, a mandatory insurance package, that we're going to receive the same benefits that other countries got due to the international best standards, hypothetically. But need I remind you that in the US, a research done actually found that even though there's mandatory insurance coverage, it has no correlation with improved healthcare benefits. So what is the motive exactly for us to adopt mandatory insurance coverage? Because there is no correlation. And to assume there's a correlation is to be absolutely wrong. To that point actually fails. And we must realize that for us to really adopt mandatory insurance, we have to understand the fact that there are better alternative insurance systems worldwide. In Bhutan, for instance, they have universal healthcare access, which has actually shown a correlative increase in healthcare treatments, unlike mandatory insurance coverage, which has not actually shown any correlation with improved healthcare. And aside from that, there are so many. It also brings up the fact that the government should subsidize the cost for these things. But let's be honest, the Nigerian government is already struggling with so many things. They can't provide infrastructure. What makes you think they're going to subsidize mandatory insurance coverage? They can't even provide common roads to us. So the government didn't provide roads, didn't provide electricity, didn't provide food, didn't provide shelter to its citizens. Then they should go and now provide for mandatory insurance coverage. Why not deal with the existing problems first, then think about this? And again, if we are to even do this, we should actually look for a solution that fits our country, that fits the realities of the Nigeria we live in, because mandatory insurance coverage, however well-intentioned, is not suited for the current economic and social realities of a country like Nigeria. I'm proud to oppose. Thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause, please. Mary Ukiashia, ably reported. Now, let's move on to the last stage of this match here between Akilo Seyon Charles of CMS Grammar School and Mary Ukiashia of Wellspring College, Lagos. I would like to call on Akilo Seyon Charles for his closing argument. Akilo, you're welcome on board one last time for this round. Thank you.
All protocols duly observed once again. I am Akilo Seyon Charles, and I'm here to round off my points. Economic growth and stability is also another advantage gotten from insurance coverage. Let me explain. You see, it helps to provide financial security. Now, how does it do this? It also increases human capital, it increases investment, and it increases economic productivity by reducing absenteeism in the labor force, thereby increasing the productivity, as I said earlier. According to the World Bank stated that for every 1% increase in insurance coverage, there's a 1.4% decrease in poverty and a 1.2% increase in economic growth. Isn't that interesting? Then again, it also helps to reduce government spending, because all of the money that are spent on these public health systems are reduced, because they are no longer, when it is eventually adopted, the cases of accidents and all are eventually reduced, thereby reducing government spending. It also reduces the strain on these public health systems, just as I explained now. Then it helps to reduce bankruptcy. See, a lot of people go bankrupt nowadays because of this fact I gave earlier, because 60% of Nigerians live from paycheck to paycheck. What will happen if a certain Mr. Obi gets into an accident and they're asking him to pay up to 1.4 million naira for surgery, someone that earns 70,000 naira every month? That's not done, does not work. But if he has actually made up his mind that he's going to be paying just another bill at the end of the month for premium, then he's not going to have to worry about this surgery. And I'm not saying that Mr. Obi is going to have the accident, but as I said earlier, accidents are inevitable, and everybody's going to face it one time or the other in each of our lives. Then again, it helps to insurance coverage helps to insurance coverage it also helps to give individual peace of mind. Now, my opponent talked about people doing stunts and a lot of things just because they know that they are covered by insurance. But I don't think this does not actually make sense, because it rather gives people peace of mind that they are covered by insurance, and it still does not mean that they are going to reduce their personal care measures and all that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe I've been able to prove to you why insurance coverage should be made mandatory to all citizens in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Akilo Seyon Charles. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now let's have Mary Ukiashia here for her closing argument. Mary, a round of applause for her, please.
All protocols duly observed. First, public health concerns. By prioritizing compliance, we risk overlooking vital investments in education and preventive care that can truly empower our communities. A compelling 2019 study by the Nigeria Health Watch showcases the primary health care under one roof initiative, which achieved a remarkable 40% reduction in mortality rates in rural communities in just 5 years. This isn't just a statistic, it's a lifeline for families. The difference between a child thriving or merely surviving, a society united in health or fragmented by neglect. Also, mandatory insurance coverage, though well-intentioned, can stifle innovation. Strict regulations deter providers, as seen in healthcare, from exploring new solutions to enhance patient care due to increased fears of penalties, audits, or loss of reimbursement. The US experience with the Affordable Care Act showcases this paradox, illustrating how structures intended to ensure equitable access can actually end up suppressing the innovation needed for progress. Next, alternative insurance models worldwide show us mandatory coverage isn't the only path to wide access and quality. Take Brazil, voluntary auto and homeowners insurance thrive through community-driven, culturally tailored programs. This is achieved. We can actually achieve similar solutions here in Nigeria, yet the hurdles are real. Risk pooling in Nigeria, high-risk individuals like farmers often carry the load for lower-risk individuals, sparking frustration, disengagement, and high premiums. And with the lack of accurate actuarial data, further complicating the fair premium settings, a mandatory coverage for all is even more problematic. Moving on, are we really discussing mandatory coverage in a country with almost 50% illiteracy rates? A country in 2024 that is still struggling with myriad educational woes, including the over 1.3 million teacher demand as reported by the UNICEF? With many of its citizens knowing next to nothing about the technicalities of insurance policies and the government lacking the capacity to drive the needed awareness, it's obvious that a mandatory approach for all citizens produces nothing short of a catastrophe. Furthermore, increased informality, representing a staggering 65 to 80% of Nigeria's workforce, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, the informal economy is characterized by the absence of contracts, job security, or benefits. Implementing mandatory insurance would push more individuals underground due to the burden of compliance and fear and risk of penalties. What this does is that it now reduces participation rates in the insurance market and undermines the goal of broad access to insurance. Next, fragmented insurance market. The Nigerian insurance market is often fragmented with numerous small and undercapitalized insurance, leading to inefficiencies, inconsistent service quality, and lack of reliable data for risk profiles. A mandated system will struggle to establish trust among consumers if insurers perceive that they cannot address their needs or provide adequate support. Finally, limited infrastructure for claims processing. A robust claims processing infrastructure is essential for the success of any insurance system. In Nigeria, the lack of adequate infrastructure combined with bureaucratic inefficiencies can lead to frustration and delays in claims processing. If individuals believe that mandatory insurance will not provide timely and effective help when needed, they may be less inclined to comply. Adjudicators and audience, here lies the question. Is mandatory insurance coverage for all Nigerians necessary and desirable, or is it but a dream wrapped in chaos? This policy, however well-intentioned, shouts of hidden costs, weighs like iron on the backs of those who barely endure. Imagine the market of survival is bound by a new chain, where costs overwhelmed and support remains a brittle thread. And our infrastructure? Fragile, fraying, a net with thread too thin, strained and uncertain, uncertainty that reaps nothing but havoc. This isn't just a rejection, it's a plea for wisdom, for a path that lifts, not burdens. Forcing this upon us all? No, not this heavy, hollow dream.
Mary, okay, Ashia, that was very personal. That was very, very personal. I don't even think it's a debate anymore, the way she ended it. Okay, so we're done with that round. We would wait for our judges to collate. While we wait for the judges to collate, let me quickly say here and now that we're going to be having two semi-finals. This is the first one we just listened to. Once we have the result, we would have the first two to go and sit down in their seat, while we have the remaining two up for their own match. And they will take the same format: the opening argument, the rebuttal, and then the closing argument. Let me also say that the first prize winner will leave here with 400,000 naira. A round of applause for NIA. The second prize winner will go home with 250,000 naira. Money in this Nigeria today is not easy. Then the third prize winner would go home with 150,000 naira. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we will wait for our judges. I skipped this part when I was starting, and that is to also acknowledge all the insurance heads here. Please clap for yourselves. It's not easy. Thank you so much. Thank you. A lot of Nigerians don't know the benefit of insurance, and truly there is need for education. Like Mr. Chairman said in his opening remark, we need to penetrate the schools to make sure that we inform people, we teach the children, because largely, if we catch them young, they can be able to have that culture. Insurance is pretty much as important as the regular banking that people, put their money in the bank for. We need to sell that story to everybody because it helps. The other day, I was speaking with a friend who had gone to the hospital, and in the hospital they were go and do this treatment, go and do that treatment. So I was like, guy, this will be very expensive. Oh. He said, no, I have insurance. You too. Meanwhile, I was the one that told him to look, you need to get coverage, you need to have insurance, you need to do this, and he was dismissing me the other time. So I was really shocked that he had keyed into having health insurance, for that matter. I was even the one that told him to even get full car coverage insurance. So it takes us to educate ourselves for us to know. I mean, I don't even know why I'm talking to insurance people. I should be talking to people that don't even know about it. But essentially what I'm saying is that we need to educate people a whole lot more so that we can have more people inside the net. Like one of the debaters said, it's less than about 2%. I saw 0.3%. I'm not sure, but I know you would have, the more recent data. The data that I saw is 0.3% coverage. I had heard something like 5% before, but what I saw was 0.3, which is a far cry from what it should be or where we should be. Because I know that apart from people getting insurance cover, there is also going to be availability of funds in the pool, for financial management, for investment here and there, which is to the benefit of everybody, really. So these children, you must know that they have really prepared. I mean, a round of applause for our first two debaters. They have really, really prepared for this debate. We'll wait to get the outcome of this debate, and we'll call our next debaters to come and grace us with their own argument. By the way, they will be arguing this particular topic. What is the topic again? Can insurance help improve economic stability? That is what they will be arguing. Adiwa Folari will be the first to mount the stage. He will be arguing against the topic, and then Messi would come to argue for. In fact, we'll start with 4. Messi would come up first, 4, then Adio would come on second for the against the topic. Finally, before I have the result here, do we have the result ready? Fantastic. St. Charles garnered 57 points. Mary Ukeashia garnered 69 points. In total, Akilo St. Charles has scored by our amiable 3 judges 198 points. Please note down these points because the highest third point or winner would automatically fill the 3rd position. Mary Ukeashia has garnered in total 229 points, making her the winner of the first semi-final of the great debate. A round of applause for the two of them. Thank you. Please proceed to your seat. We'll call you back out, Mary Ukeshia. Now let's proceed to our second semi-final match. This involves two other champions of the I Beg to Differ debate tournament. They are here now, elevated to the great debate of the NIA, the first edition of the great debate of the NIA. Let's again introduce to you our two contestants for the second semi-final. Mercy Ajekigbe of Inglewood Academy, a round of applause for her. I also have Adua Folari of Ikorodu Senior High, a round of applause for him as well. They are arguing, they are debating, can insurance help improve economic stability? Mercy Ajekigbe will say, yes, insurance can help, can provide security and encourage investment. Adio would say, mbano. Economic stability depends on more factors than just insurance. Please welcome on stage for his opening argument, Mercy Ajekigbe. A round of applause for her, please. Mercy, your time starts now.
As the Nigerian Insurance Association states, as National Association states, ensuring the future, highlighting the vital role of insurance in our economy. Today, I will be arguing that insurance is essential for economic stability, empowering individuals and businesses to thrive. Moderators, adjudicators, my co-debaters, and ever-attentive listeners, good day. I am Ajekigbe Mesetola, a SS3 student of Inglewood Academy, and I'm here to prove that insurance can help improve economic stability in our country. Stay with me as I dive into this topic. Firstly, risk mitigation. Insurance provides financial protection against unexpected events such as natural disasters, health emergencies, and accidents, reducing financial burden during this crisis. The National Institute of Building Science estimates that every $1 invested in disaster mitigation saves approximately $6 in future costs. Secondly, encouragement of entrepreneurship. Would you put all your savings into a new venture without the safety net of insurance to protect you from potential losses? Of course not. Only a fool would do that. With insurance, entrepreneurs are more likely to take risks and start new businesses, fostering innovation and economic growth as new businesses contribute to the economy. Thirdly, job creation in the insurance sector. The insurance industry itself is a significant employer, providing jobs that contribute to economic stability. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the insurance industry contributed about 178 million naira to the country's GDP in the second quarter of 2021, and has been increasing ever since. Furthermore, financial market stability. Insurance companies invest premiums in various financial instruments, providing stability and liquidity to the financial markets. Now tell me, if insurance companies can stabilize the financial markets, wouldn't that create a ripple effect of economic stability through the entire economy? And you're still trying to tell me that insurance does not help improve economic stability. Also, consumer confidence boost. Picture this: you're about to buy your very first house, a huge commitment, by the way. Wouldn't you feel more secure knowing that home insurance can cover any damage caused by unexpected disasters like a fire or flood? This peace of mind makes it easier to invest in such a big purchase, knowing that if something goes wrong, you'll be protected. In addition, infrastructure development financing. Insurance companies play a crucial role in funding infrastructure projects through investments, which is key to economic stability. According to the Nigerian Insurance Association, the insurance industry has mobilized over 1 trillion naira in the country, over 1 trillion naira in assets, with significant portion invested in government bonds, infrastructure projects, and real estate. Next, enhance business resilience. Insurance helps businesses to recover from losses quickly, ensuring that they continue their operations and contribute to economic stability. A study from the Federal Reserve found that businesses with insurance recover quickly from disasters compared to those without. Besides that, promotion of financial literacy. Engaging with insurance products encourages individuals to to participate in other financial planning and to participate to understand financial management better. The National Endowment for Financial Education found that individuals with insurance are 40% likely to engage in other financial planning activities, which is actually good for the economy. Moreover, support for agriculture and food security. How can there be peace, stability, and security in a country where people can't afford to feed their families? Well, insurance can help mitigate this by protecting farmers and food providers, ensuring stable supply of foods, even during crisis. Certainly, encouragement of savings and investments. A study from the Financial
Time
Planning
up.
Association.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Messi. Ha. Messi has vexed though. 4 minutes and Messi was still going on. A round of applause for her again, please. Her opening argument. Now let's listen to Adioa Folari's opening argument. Please come on stage. He would have 4 minutes to argue that same topic. Should insurance coverage be, no, not that one. Adio, what's your topic again? Yeah, can insurance help improve business? Okay, good. You have understanding of your topic? All right, you have 4 minutes. Your time starts now.
In Zimbabwe, the economic crisis of the late 1990s and early 2000s was worsened by failing insurance companies that left policyholders with unpaid claims. This resulted in hyperinflation, which peaked in 2008 at an astronomical 89.3 sextillion%, highlighting how a weak insurance can destabilize an economy rather than protect it. On that note, my moderator and adjudicators, co-debater, creator and keeper, and every listening audience, follow me as I unveil the very reason as to why insurance does not improve economic stability in an economy. All right, so to start with, insurance fostered reckless risk-taking, as seen during the 2008 financial crisis, where firms like AIG relied on insurance to cover their risky credit default swaps. This led to $700 billion bailout, proving that insurance amplifies financial instability rather than encouraging responsible risk management. Thus, it is safe to say that insurance can incentivize dangerous behaviors that destabilize the economy. Secondly, the insurance markets are inherently recurrent, leading to periods of severe coverage constraints during economic downturns. For instance, during the 2008 financial crisis, many insurers reduced coverage availability or raised premiums dramatically, making it difficult for businesses and individuals to obtain necessary protection. While supporters claim that cycles are part of market behavior, these instabilities can lead to broader economic repercussions, especially when businesses lack the coverage they need to survive downturns. Thirdly, the insurance industry is plagued by inefficiencies, with excess administrative costs and claims processing delays leading to wasted resources. Studies show that as much as 30% of healthcare spending in the United States is attributed to administrative overhead. Critics may argue that these costs are necessary for oversight, but the reality is that the diverse significant funds away from care and economic stability. Moving on, many low-income individuals and families are uninsured, leaving them financially vulnerable. To back up my point, in 2022, it was reported that nearly 25% of Americans are uninsured Americans are financially vulnerable. While some may argue that this insurance increases overall protection, the reality is that systemic gaps in coverage will increase inefficiencies and prevents full economic participation. Furthermore, in 2019, insurance fraud was reported to cost the sector 160 billion naira annually, affecting not only the solvency of companies but also increasing the premiums for consumers. Still on my point, high fraud rates create inefficiencies and fraud and trust issues, reducing the overall effectiveness of the insurance system in obtaining necessary protection and supporting economic stability. Moving on, high overhead and operational costs can lead to inflated premiums for consumers. Insurance often base premiums on flood data, leading to high overhead and operational costs can lead to inflated premiums for consumers. Research indicates that 20% of premiums are spent on administrative costs rather than direct coverage. Proponents may argue that these costs are necessary for service quality, but the resulting premium increases can restrict access to necessary protection for many individuals and businesses. Furthermore, after large-scale disasters, insurance often falls short, forcing the government to step in. For example, following Hurricane Katrina, insurance payouts only covered a fraction of the $110 billion in damages, leaving the government to absorb the rest. This is financial responsibility to the citizens, destabilizing national budgets like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Moving on, insurance systems are inherently leave out the most vulnerable, making it a poor tool for fostering broad economic stability. For example, 39 million Americans are uninsured, leaving lower income individuals more vulnerable to financial ruin, reducing their purchasing power and economic contribution. Furthermore, high premiums act as barriers for small businesses. For example, in the US, small firms pay 25% more for insurance than larger corporations, limiting competition and reducing market diversity. This stifles innovation and growth, essential for maintaining a dynamic economy. Thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause. This is going to be a showdown. Okay. Now let's get ready for the rebuttal. The rebuttal would be for them to have a chance to go at what their opponent had argued a moment ago. They will have 4 minutes each to rebut their opponent's points. We'll start with Messi Ajekigbe. Messi, let's have you here. A round of applause for her. Encourage them. Thank you. Messi, your time starts now.
Thank you, moderators. All protocols duly and respectfully observed. I remain Ajekibir Messeitala, here to refute some of my opponent's points. Some of the points my opponent gave during his presentation stage. First, low accessibility and low affordability of insurance to low income individuals. Well, that is why there is something called micro insurance. You see, many insurance companies have created micro insurance products tailored specially for low income individuals. These products also cater for low income families with the premium as low as a few hundred naira. There have also been options designed specially for small business owners and farmers, protecting them during financial downturns by adjusting the premium cost. Insurance companies have expanded the accessibility to many individuals in the countries. He also said they are inefficient. They are subject to financial downturns. However, I agree to disagree. While it is true that markets fluctuations do affect insurance companies, it is important to note that regulatory frameworks and risk management practices has been put in place to help adjust this. For instance, in Nigeria, the National Insurance Commission have enforced strict capital requirements and reserves for insurance companies to safeguard them during financial downturns. He also mentioned that inefficiencies as a result of slow claims processing. However, advancements in technology have helped to improve speed and overall transparencies in claims processing, and also regulatory frameworks has also been put in place to tackle this. With this, I hope I have successfully proven that insurance can help improve economic stability. Thank you.
Messi Ajekigbe. Thank you. Now let's have Adioa Folari come up here for 4 minutes to rebut Messi's point. Adioa Folari, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for him. Adio, your time starts now.
All protocols duly observed. My name is Tiadia Folari, strongly opposing the motion which states, can insurance improve economic stability? Well, I'm here to report on my opponent's points. Firstly, my opponent stated risk mitigation. Well, insurance does not fully account for this, as expensive premiums can actually deter risk mitigation. She also stated that it helps during natural disasters, but I beg to differ. The fact is that insurance only covers a fraction of the overall expenditure during natural disasters. For example, in Nigeria, insurance left the government to pay over $7 billion in 2022 on post-flood relief. Furthermore, my opponent also stated entrepreneurship, as it boosts entrepreneurship. But I would like to, in contrast to this, it actually prevents small businesses from entering the market, as high premiums act as barriers to small businesses from entering into entrepreneurship. Thus, it limits only the economy to a monopolistic larger corporations, thus in a way reducing entrepreneurship. My opponent also stated it boosts agriculture. Well, the fact is that especially in developing countries, it actually does not boost agriculture, as a low percentage of people are able to access insurance, and due to high premiums also preventing them from engaging in such. The fact that only in Africa only about 3% of smallhold farmers are actually insured. Moving on, my opponent also stated financial literacy and how insurance can help people to understand it better. But the fact is that the lack of financial literacy in the first place actually prevents them from actually taking it into adopting insurance. Thus, how can you say insurance helps people to understand financial literacy when the lack of it prevents them from engaging in such insurance? Also, my opponent stated Okay. In answer to my points, thank you.
Thank you, Adio Afolari. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. 2 rounds down. We're down with the presentation round. We're down with the rebuttal round. It's time to go into the closing round. As their closing argument, they will have 4 minutes each to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mercy Eitola Ajekigbe for her closing argument. Thank you. Mercy, your time starts now.
Still standing with existing protocols, I remain Ajekibir Mesetola, here to make my closing remarks. Now, picture a future where families can face unforeseen challenges with confidence, where businesses grow steadily, and the economy remains resilient against shocks. That is the power insurance holds in building stability, not just for individuals, but for communities and the economy at large. My arguments today have shown that insurance isn't just about covering losses, but it is a force for long-term economic resilience. However, the question remains, can a stable economy truly exist without it? Well, let's find out. Facilitation of international aid. Insurance products can help countries to manage and respond to natural disasters, reducing their reliance on foreign aid. The World Bank estimates that countries with better insurance coverage on natural disasters can mobilize recovery funds up to 30% faster. Secondly, encouragement of sustainable practices. Insurance can incentivize businesses to adopt sustainable practices by offering lower premiums for environmentally friendly initiatives. Furthermore, support for retirement planning. Imagine planning, looking forward to retirement but without any savings. How can one enjoy these days without financial security? Well, life insurance and annuities can help individuals to secure their financial future, ensuring stability during retirement. Also stability for investment in innovation. Insurance helps Insurance helps investors to feel more secure when financing innovative projects. Knowing that potential losses can be mitigated, this stimulates research and development, leading to technological advancements and economic growth. In addition, preservation of family wealth. Life insurance ensures that families can maintain their financial stability even after the loss of primary breadwinner. This preservation of wealth ensures economic stability across generations. Next, global economic integration. Insurance facilitates international aid and investment by managing risks associated with cross-border transactions. The World Trade Organization states that trade credit insurance contributes to 10% increase in global trade volume. Certainly, increased tax revenue. A stable insurance industry leads to increased tax revenue for government, supporting public services and infrastructure. According to the Nigerian insurance sector has recorded a premium income of approximately $1.5 billion in 2022. Also reduction of healthcare costs. Health insurance spreads the cost of healthcare among making it more manageable for individuals and reducing the overall expenditure of costs for communities. In conclusion, as Benjamin Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. This underscores the importance of insurance in safeguarding our economy. The benefits it brings far exceeds the opposing views, making it essential for Nigeria's economic stability and growth. Thank you.
Thank you. Mercy Ajekigbe rests her case. Wow. Okay, so let's have Adio Afolari here for his closing argument. He's going to have 4 minutes to make final impact on the judges as well as you, the audience. Adio Afolari, your time starts now.
All protocols still observed. My name is Shaja Falari. Strongly opposing motion states, can insurance improve economic stability? And here are my closing arguments. To begin with, insurance concentrates profits, reducing capital circulation in the economy. In 2023, the top 5 U.S. insurers earned over $50 billion, diverting wealth that could otherwise fund innovations or businesses. Much of this capital remains in low-growth, low-risk areas, hindering dynamic economic progress and contributing to long-term inequality. Secondly, major insurance companies often engage in practices that stifle competition, such as forming monopolies in specific markets. To back up my point, in 2023, it was reported that the top 5 insurance in the United States hold nearly 50% of the market share in health insurance. While some may argue that this consolidation enhances efficiency, the lack of competition leads to higher prices and less innovation, really increasing economic instability increasing economic instability. Third, the reliance on complex risk models can lead to inadequate pricing and coverage decisions in the insurance industry. Insurers often base decisions on flawed data, which can lead to unjust pricing for consumers. Advocates may claim that these models help manage risk, but the reality is that where they fail, it often results in inadequate coverage for high-risk individuals and communities, increasing economic instability. Furthermore, many insurance policies do not adequately cover risks associated with climate change, leaving communities vulnerable to natural disasters. For example, following Hurricane Sandy, insurance payers only covered a fraction of the $110 billion in damages, leaving the government or the $110 billion or the $110 billion in damages. While some may argue that insurance mitigates risk, the reality is that the reality is that inadequate coverage of economy related events can increases vulnerability and instability in the economy. Moving on, insurance drives inflation, particularly in healthcare. For example, where US premiums rose by 47% between 2011 and 2021, outpacing wage growth. While some may claim that insurance increases overall protection, the reality is that they fail to provide for economic stability and instead increase inflation. Moving on. Insurance failures often require government bailouts, as seen in 2008 when AIG's collapse necessitated a $182 billion rescue. When insurance failed, the burden shifts to taxpayers, destabilizing national economies and undermining the argument that insurance strengthens national economic stability. Furthermore, insurance companies prioritize profits, earning $39.8 billion in 2020, while millions struggle with healthcare costs. This shopping-driven model reduces purchasing power and contributes to economic instability. With the time I have, I want to report on my opponent's points. From my opponent's opening round, she stated it helps in job creation. Well, there are 2 factors that prevent insurance from helping job creation in developing countries such as Nigeria. The fact is that insurance does not fully cover for a large percentage of employment in Nigeria's workforce, only covering about 0.5% in the workforce. Furthermore, insurance does not the Nigerian workforce is mainly made up of informal workers at 80%. Thus, it is unsafe to say that insurance can fully boost Nigeria's job creation. Thank you.
Adio Afolari rest his case. There you go. Now we have the 3 stages signed, sealed, and delivered. Adio Folari up against Mercy Ajekigbe. They both argued the topic, can insurance help improve economic stability? Mercy Ajekigbe argued in favor that insurance, yes, definitely can help do that. Adio said, nah, that's not true. Insurance cannot do that alone. There are other things that would have to come into play before that can be achieved. You must have noticed that during the rebuttal rounds, it looked quite difficult for them. That's because the rule of the that's why it's a great debate, is a step higher than where they had competed before, in the sense that they are not allowed to come up here with a point made by their opponent. So if they had come here with the points made by their opponent, they would have been able to argue or rebut all the points one after the other. But we wanted them to memorize the points made by their opponents and then rebut them one after the other, which to me, the great debate. So this is a step higher than where they had previously competed. A round of applause for the 2 of them once again. Once we announce the result, we will move straight into the finale, the final, which will see the winner of the second semi-final square up against the winner of our first semi-final, who is Mary Ashia. Then afterwards, they will start with their 3 stages as well. The opening argument will take 4 minutes, rebuttal 4 minutes, closing 4 minutes, and then would have our judges would give us the final winner. This will be the climax of our sitting down here today. Let me first and foremost also appreciate everybody here that has been quite patient with us. A round of applause for yourselves once again. Tell me if you've enjoyed this debate. Have you enjoyed the debate? Have you enjoyed the debate? I think I've had a good time. They have really demonstrated that they prepared for this competition. So would announce the result as soon as we have the result of the second match. I also want to appreciate our DG, who has been very, very patient with us. I can see the Mr. Chairman outside, very busy doing Mr. Chairman stuff. But I'd like to, once again, please, this time, let's put our hands together. A very resounding one for our DG, Mrs. Bola Odudkale. A round of applause for her, please. I want to hear this thing now, please, because she has been really, really supportive of the debaters. When one of them got stuck, she was the one that started clapping. I said, "Oh, mommy." That's what mothers do. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Let's have, at this juncture, let me say that, Tommy, do we have refreshments for our people? Okay, that will be after. All right, so Tommy said refreshment will come after. In the meantime, let me quickly sell my market. So we have the I Beg to Differ debate competition coming up. It's going to be season 8. We will start in 2 weeks' time, where we'll have secondary schools in the entire city of Lagos. They would converge on our studio here in VI, that Nigeria Info FM. It's the same building with Cool FM and Wazobia FM. We also have a new baby now called Kids FM. It's a station. I mean, if you tune into Kids FM now, you hear children talking and sharing. This morning I was coming and I heard children arguing that why would school pay attention to children and their parents? That what's the business of school in their parents' life? I think is the school not supposed to just mind them, the children? I was like, look at these tiny things. You people too are talking. Well, that's what the station is for, where children can openly, freely express themselves on the radio. It's just amazing. You can listen to it. It's brilliant, really. Now, let's move on and announce the results of this competition. Mercy Adekigbe, Adioa Folari, congratulations to the both of you. You have done your best. It is time for the results. Let's start from the first category, or the first criterion, which is the content. Under content, the judges scored Adioa Folari 61 points. A round of applause, please. Mercy Ajekigbe, the judges scored you under content 65 points. Under use of time, the judges scored Adioa Folari 30 points. A round of applause. Mercy Ajekigbe, under use of time, the judges scored you 26 points. Under presentation, Adioa Folari 55 points. Mercy Ajekigbe 62 points. And under impact, Adioa Folari 60 points. Mercy Ajekigbe 67 points. Now to the results. Adioa Folari, cumulatively, the judges have scored you 26 points. That's 206 points, please. I beg your pardon. 206 points, Adioa Folari. and Messi Ajekigbe, cumulatively, the judges have scored you 220 points. You have qualified for the final. A round of applause for Messi Ajekigbe. Please, the two of you, go back to your seats. We are going to give them about 5 minutes, especially Messi, to rest for a bit because she just finished the match. So after the 5 minutes, we'll move on ahead for the final today. In the meantime, while we wait for that, I think it is safe to officially announce the third place winner because we already have the result for the third place winner. You know, I did mention earlier that the one with the third highest marks would automatically fill the spot for the third place winner. And that will be between Adio Afolarin and Akilo Seyon Charles. Akilo Seyon Charles, in his earlier match, scored 198. Adio Afolarin just scored 206, which makes him the third place finalist. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you. Now we're left with Mary Ashia. Mary Ashia is the current national champion of I Beg to Differ. Ajekigbe Messi is the champion of I Beg to Differ Lagos. So we have two champions about to take the stage. This is going to be tough. By the way, I should say that the topic that they will be arguing is right here. They will be debating culture or education, which is the biggest barrier to insurance adoption in Nigeria. Culture or education, which is the biggest barrier to insurance adoption in Nigeria. This is very tough. You're not a good person. Tommy is not a good person. I don't know who came up with this, but this is very, very, very tough. This is really good job. Good job to the team. This is amazing. Please clap for the team. They have come up with an amazing topic. This is amazing. Now let's call our debater on stage. Mary Ashia, please come, sit down. A round of applause for the two of them. Ajekigbe Messi, please come have a seat. The 5 minutes is still counting. While that counts, let me also state that they already know their position. Mary would argue that culture is the biggest barrier to insurance adoption in Nigeria. Ajekigbe Messi would argue that education is the biggest barrier to insurance adoption in Nigeria. The two of them would follow the same process: 4 minutes for their opening argument, 4 minutes for their rebuttal, and 4 minutes for closing. They are allowed to also use the remaining time that they've got left during their rebuttal or their closing to make extra points if they have time left for them to make use of. So if we're good to go, I think our 5 minutes is up for us to begin the final of the great debate brought to you by the Nigerian Insurers Association, NIA. Please, let's clap for NIA. A round of applause for NIA. This is amazing, and I hope that it will continue from this year on. Now, let me invite on stage for her opening presentation, her opening argument. Messi, no, not Messi, actually. I'm going to call on Mary Ashia for her opening argument. Mary, a round of applause for her, please. Mary, your time starts now.
I'm sure many of us eat swallow with our hands, not cutleries. And I'm also sure that many of us know the health risks involved in this. Yet, we still choose our hands over cutlery. Why? Because culture is bigger than logic. It drives our decisions, and it's something that cannot be defeated by knowledge alone. Adjudicators, moderators, fellow debaters, and audience, I support the motion that culture is the biggest barrier to the adoption of insurance in Nigeria over education. First, cultural context shapes education. In order to effectively address educational barriers, we must first dismantle cultural obstacles. Why? For example, insurance educational programs that overlook local beliefs often fail, as shown by the National Health Insurance Scheme campaign in rural communities. In many areas with deeply ingrained cultural beliefs, like most Nigerian communities, even beneficial educational programs can still be dismissed if they challenge the existing cultural norms without providing a culturally relevant alternative. Next, education cannot overcome cultural beliefs. Educated individuals can often reject insurance due to deeply ingrained cultural beliefs. A 2023 study by the National Institute of Social and Economic Research found that educated people from communities with strong cultural support systems are still unlikely to engage in insurance. When academic knowledge conflicts with cultural beliefs, individuals may experience cognitive dissonance, leading to selective acceptance of information that aligns with pre-existing views. Next, effective education requires cultural relevance. The success of an education initiative depends on cultural relevance. An analysis of the 2020 financial literacy campaign by the Nigeria Insurance Commission found that culturally tailored messaging led to a 40% increase in policy inquiry among targeted communities, highlighting the need for cultural competence in insurance education as globalization leads to increasingly diverse societies. Moving on, education gap paradox. It would be easy to believe that many Nigerians lack the necessary education to understand insurance products, viewing it as foreign and unnecessary. Interestingly, a 2017 survey by the National Bureau of Statistics indicated that only 4% of Nigerians understand the benefits of insurance, with many opting to rely on friends and family instead. This leaves only one question. Is education really the barrier to insurance adoption when more than 60% of the population aged 15 years and above are considered educated? Furthermore, with almost half of Nigeria's population domiciled in rural communities, according to the 2023 World Bank data, collectivism thrives, emphasizing family ties, mutual aid and support, shaping attitudes related to financial responsibility, including insurance. Even with its inconsistency, lack of structure, and probable vulnerability to exploitation, Emeka is still more likely to meet Uncle Chimdi, same as Olushola falls on Ojo or Susu during emergency times. Informal frameworks deemed more sufficient than personal insurance. In addition, cultural perversion of risks. Diverse societies understand, interpret, and respond to risks based on values, morals, historical context, and social structures, which significantly influence their behavior to financial planning, insurance, and overall risk management strategies. These policies, for instance, now, in many African societies, they attribute illness to supernatural causes, viewing it as a spiritual disfavor rather than as a risk that can be mitigated through insurance. Next, distrust in formal institutions. Historically, colonial and post-colonial regimes have fostered distrust in formal institutions, including insurance companies. A 2018 study by the Nigeria Insurance Association found that 62% of Nigerians do not trust insurance companies, underscoring how these sentiments undermine formal insurance adoption. Finally, taboos and stigmas around insurance stem from cultural values that shape attitude related to life events like death and illness, contributing to poor insurance penetration. Openly discussing death, accidents, or illness is often frowned upon, as such topics are believed to invite misfortune. Purchasing an insurance is seen as inviting bad things into one's life. It's seen as
Time up. Congratulations to you, Mary Ukeashia. You finished your time this time. A round of applause for her, please. Oh, wow. Now I know that we're in for a finale. Well done. Let's have Ajekigbe Messi here for her own opening argument. She would have 4 minutes to present her case in this topic. Please come on stage, Messi. You have 4 minutes. That's the mic. Your time starts now.
A quote from Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in education pays the best interest. While cultural beliefs may foster skepticism, the lack of financial literacy and understanding of insurance products is the primary barrier that needs to be tackled to enhance insurance adoption in Nigeria. Moderators, adjudicators, my co-debater, and ever-attentive listeners, good day. I am Majek Kibir Maisetola, a student of Inglewood Academy, here to prove that education is the bigger barrier to insurance adoption in Nigeria. Why do I say so? Well, firstly, low literacy rates. Nigeria's literacy rates, though improving, remains relatively low, especially in rural areas. In 2020, the literacy rate among adults was about 62%. Many Nigerians still lack the basic reading and comprehension skills necessary to understand financial policies, which are often complex. Now tell me, how can somebody trust what they don't understand? Secondly, lack of financial education. The financial literacy in Nigeria is estimated to be about 26%, meaning that many Nigerians do not understand basic financial concepts, let alone more complex insurance products. Without this foundation, the benefits of insurance, it will be hard to grasp. Thirdly, educational inequalities across regions. Educational access is uneven, with many regions in the northern part of Nigeria experiencing significantly lower school attendance and literacy rates compared to the south. This regional disparity affects insurance awareness. Furthermore, poor quality of education. The World Bank ranks Nigeria 169th out of 186 countries in education quality. This poor education hinders the effective teaching of financial literacy, including insurance education. Also, lack of diverse educational content on insurance. Though some Nigerian secondary schools offer insurance education for commercial students, the curriculum is often limited and based on rote learning instead of practical applications. Besides, with only 13% of students enrolled in commercial courses, many still lack the essential financial knowledge. Besides that misunderstanding of insurance terms, research from the Nigerian Insurance Association indicated that 70% of respondents found insurance terminologies quite confusing. How can we expect insurance education when the language itself is incomprehensible to the majority? Certainly to the majority. Certainly, the issue of insurancing as luxury. A research for a 2020 National Consumer Survey found that 62% of Nigerians believed insurance is primarily for the wealthy, demonstrating a belief that can only be addressed through education. Lastly, insurance. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ajeki Gwemesi. A round of applause for her again. She tried so hard to just make sure that but it is what it is. Now they are both preparing for their rebuttals. We're going to give them a few minutes to quickly just look across the points made by their opponent earlier. 2 minutes would be sufficient for them to be able to do that. So let's give them that 2 minutes to do that. Again, once they are done with their rebuttal, we'll take their closing arguments, after which would announce the winner of the finale of the great debate brought to you by the Nigerian Insurers Association, NIA. Now, let's have Mary Ashia up here for her rebuttal. Please, Mary, a round of applause for Mary Ashia. She would have 4 minutes to rebut her opponent's point. Mary, your time starts now.
All protocols duly observed. I would like us to understand the fact that this topic has 2 parts. First, we're expected to prove that, for my side, for instance, we're expected to prove that culture is the bigger barrier to the adoption of insurance policy in Nigeria, not education. The opposition team has come up here and has only told us the disadvantages of education without actually telling us how it is the bigger barrier to the adoption of insurance policy in Nigeria, not culture. Now, moving into her point, she mentioned low literacy rates. But let's be honest, the fact that there are low literacy rates is not as a result, is not going to directly impact the adoption of insurance policies, because when there are low literacy rates, individuals fall back to their culture. And we have actually seen statistics that prove this, which is the fact that even though we may believe that many Nigerians lack the necessary education to understand insurance policies, the fact is that many of them prefer to even turn to their family members because, as she stated, 60% of Nigerians are considered educated. So how come we have 60% of Nigerians who are educated and we still have a low understanding of insurance concepts? Obviously, that tells us the fact that education is not the problem, rather it is our cultural perceptions. The other thing also mentioned is the fact that she mentioned the fact that there's economic inequality in communities and poor education quality. But let us be honest with ourselves. The fact that there's education inequality in different parts of Nigeria, that is not a new concept. Yet, people have still learned things. I mean, I'm sure that there are so many people who have not gone to schools, who are Christians. How did they get to learn about that? Was that through the grapevine? Was that through going to schools? No. That is the power of culture, because culture creates barriers that even knowledge cannot break. Culture is the way we live. Education might tell us how insurance works, but it is culture that tells us how we care, how we protect, and how we live. And the opposition must understand the fact that in order for education to actually work, for it to be effective, they must first work with culture, which is what we are pushing out, saying that culture is the bigger barrier, because people are going to always fall back to their inherent beliefs, as we have seen that individuals are less likely to go out there and do something that doesn't align with their beliefs. And in fact, we're now told that when our academic knowledge clashes with cultural beliefs, that we are more likely to experience cognitive dissonance, because we're going to fall back to pre-existing views, not creating new views that are out there. So the opposition point fails on the fact that they assume that culture is irrelevant. They assume that culture's role in society is now outdated, it's now useless, which is untrue. The fact is, for education to be effective, for it to be relevant, it must align with our cultural values. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Ukeashia with her rebuttal. Now let's have Ajekigbe Messi here for her own rebuttal. Is the final of champions here on the great debate brought to you by NIA. Messi, please. A round of applause for her, please. You will have 4 minutes to rebut your opponent's point. Ajekigbe Messi, your time starts now.
Protocols are respectfully observed. I mean, Ajekibir may say that yes, to refute some of my opponent's points. Firstly, she mentioned superstitions and cultural beliefs. However, you need to understand that superstitions are not fixed. They adapt with awareness. While culture does play a role, these superstitions can also fade when individuals are educated about the benefits of insurance. Two, you also said they fall back to their culture as a result of low literacy rates. However, when individuals are educated about the real benefits of insurance, what they get from it, then they are less likely to go back to their culture, because it improves trust in insurance and helps them to plan for future risks rather than depending on the present. You also mentioned that reliance on family networks. However, you need to understand that families cannot always cover large financial economic setbacks. You have to, there is a point you have to rely on insurance in this life. It's not all about culture. So it doesn't, when individuals are educated about insurance, whatever happens, at the end, they are going to fall back to insurance, because that is the safe option, not family beliefs. You also mentioned distrust in financial institutions. Well, distrust does not come as a result of culture. Distrust comes as a result of experience, and experience is not culture. Bad experience usually happens as a result of lack of education, as a result of lack of education about legitimate insurance practices. Many people are scammed, and many people have been scammed by fake insurance companies. However, by being enlightened, they are more likely to trust insurance, and not rely back on their culture. Thank you.
Thank you. Ajekigbe Messi with her rebuttal. Now we move to the last stage of this great debate competition between Mary and Messi. They'll have 4 minutes each for their closing arguments. The judges know exactly what they're looking for, and I'm sure they are scoring accordingly. Now let's have Mary Ukeashia here for her closing argument. Mary, she would have 4 minutes to close her case. Mary Ashia, your time starts now.
All protocols duly observed. When we speak about insurance, it's not just knowledge that's missing. It's trust, it's comfort, it's the culture that shapes our decisions. Imagine a mother relying on her family, a community putting resources for a neighbor in need, and a young person relying on faith over policy. This is deeper than knowledge. This is the way of life. The opposition team would want us to just discard our culture, believing that simply because people are educated, that their culture is now irrelevant. But we know that's not true. It isn't, because we see so many people today still doing things closely aligned to their culture. When you speak to some people, they can't talk to you without mixing their language in there. Why? That's the impact of culture. Today, we have proven to you beyond reasonable doubt that culture creates barriers that even knowledge cannot break. Yes, culture has superstitions, but these superstitions do not just come out of nowhere, because culture has experience, because culture has existed for a very long period of time. And to assume that culture is what breeds bad experience is to believe that prior to education, that everybody that lived in their culture had a bad experience, which we all know is untrue. The fact is that education, while it is important, only does one thing: it informs, but it is culture that shapes. It is culture that moves people to stand together. While we can be educated about things, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to follow it. I mean, the number of awareness campaigns we have had have already proven that in spite of the number of information sessions going on, little people actually change. Okay, for instance, let's consider the situation where on a Sunday, we see a lot of people going to church, don't we? We do. But how many people, when they go to church, actually change based on what the preacher has just told them? Isn't that awareness? But obviously it fails. Why? Because when your culture aligns with something, you feel a strong connection to it, and it moves you to change your behavior, because awareness, education, that is formal. That is not exactly what you would say, yeah, I'm going to change because of this. When individuals face calamities, they don't go straight up to the education to go and check, what am I meant to do? They go to their family. They go to the church. Why? Because these things closely align with their culture. You don't expect people to throw away something as personal as culture, this which defines our way of life, this which has kept us, this which has actually motivated protest in our country's history. For instance, in 1929 about women's warriors, that is because they felt their culture was threatened, and then they took off the streets and said, no, we are not going to accept this, despite the colonial government's attempts at awareness campaigns to transform them. That is the power of culture, and that is what we stand for, because culture is more than just paper. Culture is more than just textbooks. Culture is more than just awareness campaigns. Culture is our way of life, and that is what we stand with. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Ashia rests her case, finally. Now there's nothing she can do again in this competition. She has rested. Now let's have on stage Ajekigbe Messi for her closing argument. Messi, come right up. She would have 4 minutes to rest her case. Ajekigbe Messi, your time starts now.
Still standing on existing protocols, I remain Ajekube Mesetola, yet to make my closing remarks. Here's a proverb: a child who has no education is like a bird without wings. Culture shapes perception, but education drives understanding. In Nigeria, it is the lack of education more than cultural beliefs that hinders widespread insurance adoption. I'll be giving more points to back up my claims more effectively and to close my argument for today. First, low income and education connection. The World Bank reports that there is a correlation between low income and low education attainment in Nigeria, showing that people with people with limited education often have lower incomes, making them less likely to consider insurance. Secondly, misunderstandings and scams. A 2021 report from the Nigerian Consumer Council found that 45% of respondents reported being victims of insurance scams. This is because of the lack of education, on legitimate insurance products, Also, limited digital literacy. A 2020 report from the International Telecommunications Union highlighted that 50% of Nigerians lack basic digital skills. This digital divide limits access to online insurance platforms, making further complicating adoption efforts. In addition, absence of financial decision-making skills. Education teaches decision-making skills that are used in evaluating insurance products. Without these skills, Nigerians cannot assess and compare insurance products, preventing them from making informed choices about insurance. Furthermore, suspicion rooted in ignorance. Many Nigerians suspect insurance companies due to lack of understanding of how they operate. However, education could dispel this suspicion by educating people on insurance practices. There is this saying by Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Enhancing education and financial literacy in Nigeria is very critical if we really want to increase insurance adoption in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Ajekigwe Messi finally rested. Ladies and gentlemen, now what we have to do is to do what? To wait. We're about to witness something remarkable here. Like I mentioned earlier, we are seeing a clash of two champions. One national champion against Lagos champion. This is going to be very interesting, and I can't wait for the judges to tell us exactly how this has panned out in total. So let me quickly do a recap. In the first semi-final, we had Mary Okiashia square up against Akiloseon Charles. Mary won that with 229 to 198 in her favor. In the second semi-final, we had Messi Ajekigwe and Adioa Folarin, and Messi won that with 220 to 206 points in total. Now we're having the clash of the two champions. Whoever wins this will go home with 400,000 naira, courtesy of NIA. Again, please, a round of applause for the Nigerian Insurance Association. The fact that they have come up with this idea alone is an immense contribution towards the conversation around insurance coverage. It's an immense contribution towards education in total, because it's something to look forward to for students these days. This will go out and you will hear about how students want to be a part of this laudable project, and I do hope that it will continue. Many thanks to Honorable Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kunle Ahmed. A round of applause for him, please. This is quite laudable, very, very laudable. And it's my greatest sincere hope that it will continue from here. Let me also use the opportunity to thank our judges. Mrs. Adebola Surakat, thank you so much. A round of applause for her. Mr. Lanre Ojola, a round of applause for him as well. And Mrs. Chizoba Hyogu, a round of applause for her as well. They have done a remarkable job today. Now that we have all our matches concluded, it's time to announce the result as put together by our judges. Do we have the results? Yes, we do. Now let's have this. Hey, I'm having shivers. I'm having shivers. Mr. Chairman. Oh, God. Okay, let's start. I have the result here. Let me first say that everybody is a winner in this competition, right from Akiloseon Charles to Adioa Folarin to the two finalists here. A round of applause for the four of them. They have done remarkably well. Now let's begin. Mary Uke Ashia. Under the first criterion, which is content, the judges scored you 68 points. A round of applause for her. Ajeki Igbe Messi. Under content category, the judges scored you 65 points. A round of applause for her. Moving on to the next category, which is use of time, how they both used their time for the 3 stages of the debate. Mary scored 26 points. A round of applause for her. Messi Ajeki Igbe scored 30 points. A round of applause for her. Okay. The next category is presentation, the diction, the eloquence, and the engagement of the audience. Mary scored 67 points. A round of applause for her. Messi scored 59 points. A round of applause for her. And now to the last category, which is impact. How they were able to convince you, the audience. Mary scored 68 points. A round of applause for her. Messi scored 63 points. Now to the grand total. Messi Ajeki Igbe scored 217 points in total. A round of applause for her. And Mary Ashia scored, making her the champion of the great debate by NIA by scoring 229 points. A round of applause for Mary Uke Ashia, the great debate champion by the Nigerian Insurers Association. Mr. Chairman, let me use the opportunity to call you on stage right now for the presentation. We're going to start from the 4th place, right? Here is for you, sir. Let's start from the 4th place. Yes, the 4th place. Let's have the 4th place, Akilo Seyon Charles, up on stage. A round of applause for him, please.
Congratulations.
A round of applause, please. Akilo Seyon Charles, everybody. Madam DG, please. You're needed here on stage. Yes. No, please. Mr. Chairman, you're not going anywhere. We're here together today. A round of applause for the DG, please. Let's have the 3rd place winner here, Adio Afolari, all the way from Ikorodu Senior Secondary School. A round of applause for Adio Afolari, the 3rd place winner. Just hold on, we're not done yet. We're going to take another one with the dummy check. Congratulations to Adioa Folari. Congratulations to the NIA. Brilliant. Thank you. All right, brilliant. Brilliant. Would you like to I think you should take I think you should take one person out for himself. Okay, good. You don't want to go? Camera shy. Okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yes, I think he should take one alone. Yeah, you should take one alone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A nice idea, nice idea. Okay, good. Thank you, thank you. Now let's have the second place winner, Ajeki Igbe Messi. A round of applause for her. She goes home with 250,000 naira for coming second. A round of applause, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ajeki Igwe Messi of Inglewood Academy. A round of applause for her, please. Thank you. Now Messi alone. A round of applause for Messi Ajekigwe, the second place winner. And now to the champion of the great debate, the very first edition, put together by the Nigerian Insurance Association, Mary Ashia. Here is our champion. So we'll have the three contestants take another round of pictures after this. Let's have other contestants join Mary rather. Messi, please go on stage. Adio, go on stage as well. Go with your dummy check and your plaques. Hey, Adio. First, second, and third. All right. Okay, brilliant. The judges, please get set. You are joining them now after now. Mr. Chairman and the DG, please join them. No, the three of you. Mr. Chairman and DG, please join them. The judges, please get ready. It's not, oh. Okay, let's use the plaques, yeah? Okay. Okay. Right, right. Closer, closer, closer. Uh-huh. Now the judges, please. Thank you. No, Mr. Chairman, you're not going anywhere, sir. Yes, the judges would. A round of applause for our judges. They've done remarkably well today. And I am sure we all agree with the decision of the judges today. They have been wonderful. They have been great. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all. Madam DG, please stay because we're about to round up now. Let's have the vote of thanks by Madam DG for us. Please, let's sit.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, in fact, indeed, it's been a wonderful time. It's been a wonderful day. As those debates were going on, I was remembering my secondary school days then, when we would come on stage and say, "Good afternoon, everybody, our audience, the great debaters." But I've seen that these days is a bit different. They first introduce, the topic in a very stylish way. And you see, that's the generation that we are in now. So once again, I want you all to clap for yourselves. The debaters, congratulations. Big congratulations to you. Like the MC said, you are all winners, quite honestly. Whether you are fourth or third place, you're all winners because you've done so greatly. To stand, even to climb on this stage, to come and speak. Some people, they have serious stage frights that when they are coming on stages like this, they begin to shake and they begin to shiver. So congratulations to you. So on this note, I want to say a big thank you to our chairman, Mr. Kunle Ahmed, the chairman of NIA, for conceiving this idea and for giving it to us to run with. Thank you so much. We indeed appreciate. I want to thank all the parents that are here, mommies. Thank you so much for we are known for this kind of things. We follow the children. We share in their joy. We share in everything they do. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you that have been here, our colleagues from NIA, other ones from the various insurance companies that have been here. Thank you so very much. And I say a big thank you to the judges. You did a very good job. We all agree with the final position of this debate. I'm sure we all do agree. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and for everything put into it. And to our MC, we thank you from FM in Nigeria Info. I listen to Nigeria Info a lot. From Nigeria Info, thank you very much. It's been a wonderful one. I can assure you, this is not just going to be the end. This is series 1. I'm sure a lot of things, a lot of initiatives will also come out from this, whether it's debate or some other things. Trust me, a lot of other more initiatives will come out from this. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Our cameramen, everybody that has been a part of the success of today's event. We are very grateful. Thank you so much and have a good afternoon.
A round of applause to our DG. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, thank you. Brilliant vote of thanks. And that wraps up the inaugural edition of the Great Debate, brought to you by the Nigerian Insurers Association. This is to commemorate the investiture of our able chairman, Mr. Kunle Ahmed. Many thanks to everybody that came out here. Many thanks to Mr. Chairman. Many thanks to the DG. Many thanks to the judges. Thank you for having me as well, and have a good day. Bye-bye.